Of everything Jesus ever said or did, there's one conversation that might just be the most controversial. So much so that for the last 2,000 years, even most people who've called themselves Christians have either pretended they didn't hear it or come up with elaborate reasons why Jesus couldn't have meant what he said. A statement has to be juicy when it touches that kind of nerve. What's really ironic, though, is that maybe the least controversial teaching of Jesus comes out of the same conversation. Even if you've never read the Bible before, you've probably heard that one. Jesus says, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Most cultures and religions have some version of this principle. It makes such intuitive sense, we even use it to try to reason with children. Don't lick your brother, Paxton. Would you want him to lick you like that? Most of the time when this rule appears, it's stated in the negative, like I just applied it. Don't do to other people what you wouldn't want them to do to you. But Jesus ups the challenge by turning it into a call to be proactively helpful. Don't just avoid punching your sister in the face. Do something actively good for her instead. So far, we're probably all still on board. It's hard to argue with do good as a moral principle. But then Jesus starts giving examples of what he means by doing good. And this is where stuff begins to get dodgy, because Jesus says, "Give to anyone who asks," and "make loans without expecting repayment." Lending without repayment is rather a different level of good than washing out your coworker's coffee cup, or removing the clothes from the dressing room after you tried them on. So apparently we're talking about lavish good here. Okay, Jesus, fine, but lavish good to whom? Now things start going off the rails. If I'm going to make a loan that I don't expect to come back to me, it will almost certainly be to a friend who has redeeming qualities that make up for their financial irresponsibility. Or maybe to a relative who I might slightly resent but still feel bound by blood to keep off the street. But Jesus has the nerve to say, "I'm specifically not talking about your family and friends. I'm saying do lavish good to everyone, especially those you don't like and who probably won't return the favor." This is starting to feel downright unreasonable. But it's also pretty darn hard to deny that Jesus means what he's saying. After all, he just chose as two of his disciples Matthew, also called Levi, who collects taxes for Rome, and Simon the Zealot, who's plotting to overthrow Rome by force. It's hard to imagine two people less naturally inclined to do each other favors. Apparently, the circle of lavish gooding includes even the big bad wolf. But suppose we decide to suck it up and go along with it. Okay, Jesus, we get it. You're saying do lavish good to everyone, even used car salesmen and aggressive vegans. But you couldn't possibly mean in all circumstances. Like, what about when these people are actively tearing us up online, working against all we know to be good in the world? Jesus takes a deep breath and says, "Let's try this one more time. I'm saying to lavish good to everyone, always. When they publicly insult you, when they pinch you under the table, when they steal your favorite shirt and spill hot sauce down the front. Here's the cardinal rule for rolling with me. No one else's actions are ever allowed to dictate yours. My true disciples are those who do lavish good to everyone always, including their enemies and those who seek them harm." Here's where most people, even those who call themselves Christians, officially get off the Jesus train. This standard doesn't just feel unreasonable, it feels unhinged. To some, it even sounds downright immoral. Why would anyone think this is right? Jesus says, "My followers will do this because this is what God is like." This is probably the most shocking part of the whole conversation. This is definitely not what most of us think that God is like. God blesses good people and answers their prayers. And God punishes bad ones, or at least withdraws and lets them stew in their own stinky juices. But Jesus says, nope, you've gotten God all wrong on this one. God is kind even to ungrateful and wicked people. God still actively seeks the good of those who curse God and spit in God's face. God's care is not apportioned by how much anyone deserves it. According to Jesus, anyone can love their friends and do good to their allies. Genocidal dictators will help their buddy get his daughter into college. There's no great moral beauty in trading favors with family and friends. What's truly unique, even divine, is doing lavish, proactive good for enemies and opponents. Only someone who's met God for real would behave like that. Love of enemies isn't some fringe idea from Christianity's outer edge. It's the beating heart of faith as Jesus taught it. Do good. Do lavish good. Do lavish good to everyone. Do lavish good to everyone always. This is the distinguishing mark of someone traveling with Jesus and starting to grasp the startling truth about what God is really like. Let's listen to Jesus' words in Luke 6, beginning in verse 27. But to you who are willing to listen, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who hurt you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, offer the other cheek also. If someone demands your coat, offer your shirt also. Give to anyone who asks, and when things are taken away from you, don't try to get them back. Do to others as you would like them to do to you. If you love only those who love you, why should you get credit for that? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good only to those who do good to you, why should you get credit? Even sinners do that much. And if you lend money only to those who can repay you, why should you get credit? Even sinners will lend to other sinners for a full return. Love your enemies. Do good to them. Lend to them without expecting to be repaid. Then your reward in heaven will be very great, and you will truly be acting as children of the Most High. For He is kind to those who are unthankful and wicked. You must be compassionate, just as your Father is compassionate. I'm Meghan Good, and this has been Reading Jesus. If you'd like to join me in conversation, you can go to patreon.com/JesusCollectiveCommunity and look for the Luke 6 post. Thanks so much for joining me for a few minutes in Luke, and I'll see you next time.